Hi there and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Obviously we're still under lockdown, so I'm going to do a bit of still life photography at home. But I'm going to do still life with a bit of a difference. Now, I am a bit of a Star Wars fan or a bit of a geek, so this week I'm going to be doing a still life of some Lego Star Wars. Or specifically the AT-ST Raider from Star Wars The Mandalorian. So what I'm going to be doing today is building this Lego set, and then I'm going to be setting up a nice woodland scene, sort of recreating the episode, and then obviously I'll run you through setting up the scene and getting the shot. So before we do anything, we're going to need to go out and we're going to need to collect some bits to build our scene. So I'm going to go get my walking boots on and pop out on my exercise walk and hopefully collect up some really nice bits of scenery that we can use within our scene. Okay, so I'll see you in a few minutes down the woods. Take care. So now that we've made our Lego model, what we really need to do now is go out and collect some props. So what I've done, I come down to my local woodland during my exercise walk, and I'm just going to find some nice pieces of wood, some bits of moss, maybe some sort of dried out leaves if possible, just to help me build my scene back at home. So let's not stay on camera too long, let's go and see what pieces we can find. That's pretty awesome. That's going to look really nice, I think. Okay, so we've just finished collecting all the bits and pieces now to set the scene. Got some lovely bits of moss and old pieces of wood and sort of some twigs that hopefully will look like branches in our photo. So let's get home, grab a bit of lunch, and then we're going to build our scene. So okay, we've been out, we've collected all our bits and pieces for our scene. We've built the rather stunning looking AT-ST from The Mandalorian, the Raider version. So the next thing we need to do is build our scene up. So here on screen now is the image that I'm basing my photograph on. So as you can see, it's a woodland scene. It's quite dark and moody. The Mandalorian is facing off with the Raider in the woodlands, and I just want to try and capture some of that atmosphere. So I'm hopefully going to be bringing in a bit of smoke and some extra lighting just to sort of bring this image to life. So I think that's enough of me talking. let's just get cracking on and making up the scene. So as you can see, I've got my scene roughly set out. I've got this lovely mossy wooden log that I found in my local woodland that I'm using for my foreground. And obviously got my raider here facing off against the Mandalorian. And then I'm going to start building up my woodland scene in the background now. And to do this, I'm going to use some sticks. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use plasticine and a hot glue gun just to glue these into position onto the cardboard sheet. And hopefully this will build the illusion of depth in the scene. So I'm going to go grab my hot glue gun and some plasticine and we'll start building up our scene. Okay, great, so we've almost finished setting up our scene. We've got our woodland set up in the background, we've got our sort of moss covered log in the foreground, and we've got our raider in the middle here, ready to face off against the Mandalorian. But what this is missing is lighting and atmosphere. So what we're going to do next is set up our lighting. I'm going to use a softbox. It's just a cheap one from Amazon, and I'm going to side light my image. And then I'm going to introduce some atmosphere with some smoke and hopefully some additional lighting just to add a bit more punch into the image. If there's one thing I've learned from photographing at concerts, and that is that lighting and atmosphere can make or break an image. And I think there's a lot of translatable skills there. So I'm going to go and grab my gear and start setting up the lighting. Once I've got my lighting set up, I'll come back and just explain what I've done. So what I've done now, so I've created my light source, which is coming in from the left here. And then what I'm going to do now is get my cardboard sheets, and then I'm essentially going to block off some of this light and then put a sheet of cardboard along the side of the image, the other side on the right hand side of the image. And what this will do is just stop light bouncing around and create more of that sort of low key image. And we can really direct the light where we want it to go just by moving the cardboard sheets around. So I'm using a softbox, but any light source will do. You could use a table lamp, a spotlight, anything. As long as you can control that light, we should be able to create a really nice atmospheric image. So here's how my scene is looking so far, and I'm pretty pleased with this. We've got the raider coming in from the right hand side, and we're getting a nice, quite a low-key, high contrast image. I feel like I need to tweak my background a little bit because it's still too prominent. So the lighting is going to need to just be tweaked a little bit, so I'm getting less light in the background of the image. So I'm pretty pleased with my lighting now. I've been using spot metering so that I can get the exposure right for the front of the raider here, and that's now meaning my background is really sort of nicely faded thing. I'm going to be putting a small LED light inside the raider itself and using a red piece of plastic, which is actually a Quality Street wrapper. I'm going to make the eyes illuminate red, hopefully, pretty much like they were in the TV episode. Now we need to introduce some atmosphere, so I'm going to add some fog to my image and I'll show you in camera the results. Okay, great. So I've just finished taking the photo. The final settings were set to f11 and it was 1/1/6 of a second on the exposure time, and I did it at ISO 400. So all I need to do now is get them on the computer, give it a bit of an edit. It's worth pointing out as well, actually, I did some focus stacking because I couldn't get the characters at the front in focus as well as the ATST radar. So I just used the built-in function of my camera to do that, called focus shift on a Nikon. But it essentially just takes a series of images, and what I'll do is I'll blend them together in Photoshop to hopefully that's nice and in focus from the characters through to the radar. And I'm quite happy for the background to be out of focus for the trees. If the images come out well, I'm going to pop it up on screen now. So thanks so much for watching this video. If you've made it to the end, it would be absolutely amazing if you could like, subscribe and comment on this video. This one's been loads of fun to do. I think it's actually been one of my favourites so far. A lot of effort just for one photo. So hopefully you'll agree with me, the results were worth it and a lot of fun, especially something to do during lockdown when we can't really get out and enjoy nature quite as we would want to. So anyway, that's enough from me. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care and goodbye.